Good morning, everybody. So I'm about to go out for a run. I bought myself a new pair of runners yesterday because my other ones were just starting to fall apart. There's one thing when it comes to runners, I don't compromise. I do not try to get the best deal out there in terms of money. It's just not worth it. I just find, if I could get a pair of runners for cheap and they fit right, they're comfortable, then I would do it. But I just never can. The cheaper ones, I try them on, they don't feel right, and I know that they're not going to perform well. Ultimately, it's not the shoe, it's you, right? How you run. But there is a technology in running, how running shoes are designed, and that technology has changed dramatically over the years. When I first started running, the conventional wisdom was, this was going back to about, 2003, 2004. The conventional wisdom at that time was the soles of the runner should be thickly padded with a large arch. And that was pretty much unchallenged, and so I followed the conventional wisdom, not knowing better. And I injured myself. Now, I'm not blaming the runner. I don't believe that was the case. It was more to do with the excessive weight that I was carrying, but it didn't help that the fact that the runner had a thick heel on the sole, heavily padded, because what it was causing me to do was to land. As I was running, it configures your feet in a manner that you have a tendency to land on your heel rather than land on the forefront of your foot, which you should be doing. And if you run barefoot, that's what you naturally do. So later on, many years later, after being injured and stuff, I came across an article about running barefoot and how much more natural that is, and how it changes the way we land, and how landing more forward on your foot is more natural and healthier for when you're running. And so I bought some Vibram 5 fingers. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but they're basically like rubber, stretchy footwear that they have the individual toes, so they fit on your foot like a glove. And they're the original ones they had really didn't have any sole at all. It was just a rubber protection. So even though there was some protection there, you would feel every little sharp stone that you landed on. So although it helped me correct my running posture, it was still hard on the feet. Short runs were okay, but I actually ran full marathons in these things, and let me tell you, my feet were like hamburger meat afterwards. And so after that, they started coming out with minimalist runners that had like minimal soles, and so that was the solution. And the technology has just been getting better and better in that direction. And so now, let me show you where running technology has evolved to. Nike has come out with the Nike Free 3.0 Flynit runners. What I love about these, the sole here is flexible. I love flexible soles. You'll find some runners that are stiff, they don't bend as nicely. But what's stiff and, the flexible sole has been out for a while, but what is new about this is normally the runners still had a lot of padding around the top edge here, and but this is completely different. Not just the fact that the sole is minimal, there's really no padding there. You got a lot of protection from stones or anything like that you land on. Inside there is some cushion. It almost reminds me of the memory foam, and it might be the same kind of stuff, but it's not like thick padding or anything like that. But what I found really amazing when I tried these on was first I was skeptical because I thought, you know, it's just material. There's no padding or anything along the edges or anything like that. And it seemed pretty simple, but really what it's like wearing a sock. It's very flexible, and super comfortable. And the shoe itself almost defies gravity. It's really light. And so I mean, I haven't ran in them yet, but trying them on, I fell in love with them immediately. So I'm gonna go out for a run, and I'll give you some feedback afterwards on how these things performed. So this is it, the Nike Free 3.0 Flynit. Price-wise, it was $180 Canadian, so US that would be cheaper. But yeah, so they're not cheap. They're pretty damn expensive. But again, you know, I tried on a pair of Nike along the same technology, but a cheaper version. And even that didn't, there was something that, it was lacking something that this shoe had. You know, I can't explain it. You just got to try this out and you're thinking, wow, this is amazing. So I'm going to go out for a run now. And when I come back, I'll give you some feedback on this. So I just got back in from the 10K run, and I'd have to say that the Flynit by Nike is phenomenal. This is the runner that I have been waiting for ever since I've been experimenting with minimalist runners. And, you know, like, let's talk about comfort here. It's perfect. I mean, what I love about it is it just fits snug on your foot. My biggest challenge with runners in the past has been either the runner in certain areas was too tight and constricting, or the runners overall were just too loose. And so if they were too tight, then you would, after a period of time, you start to experience discomfort, you can get blistering. But if they were too loose, then you experience, once you start running faster, your running becomes more clumsy and you run the risk of tripping. This is the perfect fit. I mean, the reality is, you know, runners come in standard sizes, but our feet are not standard. We all have unique feet. Some people's feet are wider than others. And what's lovely about this is, you know, you get the size that you would normally get in a shoe, but with this, it conforms to the shape of your foot, to the uniqueness of your foot. And that's because the material is flexible. And it fits snugly, but it's not constricting. So it's like, again, the best I can describe it is like wearing a really nice sock. But yet you can run aggressively in these things. Like, I tried running really fast, and there was no slippage or anything like that with the runner. It stayed really firmly on your foot without creating any kind of constriction or discomfort. So comfort-wise, it's a 10. The sole too, I really like. I love the curvature of the sole. It is different from other soles that I've had on, you know, runners in the past. Again, I love the flexibility, but it also flexes sideways as well. And the sole is not just a hard sole. What you can, in some minimalist runners, you will get just basically a hard sole. There is a shock absorption quality about them, which is really quite nice as well. And again, I describe it like a memory foam. And it's not padding on top of the sole either. It seems to be more embedded into the sole. So overall, this runner is probably the closest to a natural fit as you can get. I mean, from my experience anyways. And so, you know, overall, what would I rate this runner out of 1 out of 10? I would have to give it, I would love to give it a 10, but I have to hold back 2 points and give it an 8, because what I'm not sure of yet is the durability. Like, how will this runner stand the test of time? And you know, running through harsher conditions like rain and maybe even snow, because I live in Canada here. If I plan to run out into the colder season, I might get hit with snow, ice. There's all these different factors to take into consideration. You know, I usually replace my runners about once a year, And so the question is what kind of condition will this runner be in 1 year from now? Now, I don't expect it to be in perfect condition in 1 year because I do use my runners quite well. But, you know, even after 3 months, how will this runner perform? Will it still retain most of its integrity? So those are the things that I will be looking for over the next year with using this runner. And then I can rate it in terms of durability and will it be able to get an overall 10 out of 10. But so far, I love this runner. It's amazing. So if you're a serious runner, fork out the $180 Canadian and get this. It's worth it. I mean, I don't know, is it worth paying $180 for a pair of runners? No, I don't think any shoe is worth $180, but what can you do? You know, like, I don't know, that's just the way it is, right? Like any kind of sport you get into, I find these days, if you want to get serious about it, you're gonna have to drop some coin. And it's the same thing with running. So Nike Free 0.3 Flynit runners, excellent. That's all I got to say. Take care, have a great day.